Hey guys, I am John Carrick, and today we are looking at Rocket Girl number 9, second to the last one. This is it. I love this cover. Does it really get any better than that? It's just beautiful. I think Amy is a digital artist, but I don't know. I think her colors are digital. She might be inking traditionally, and I hope she is. I hope that's freehand work. But you know what? It's none of my business. I'm really happy they have a cartoon. I'm not going to complain about these characters. They don't even exist, really. I don't know why. This is a little bit like actors who want a couple lines and they're only ever in the background of the show. And so they get this little bit. I don't even look at this as story really anymore. These are just comedy sketches. And for that, it's perfectly fine. The dogs are going to be barking a lot for this one. And I'm pressed for time, so... Ooh, we might even have landscapers in the background. So here we get inside the quantum mechanics lab. This is not where Dae-young appeared, I don't believe. I believe she appeared in Annie's apartment. This is the big, expensive industry style lab. I love when artists do... This is kind of an issue, but I still love when artists do panels all the way across, especially when it's 3/4 across. That's really nice. Knowing that this is a cartoon and that these are only cartoon characters and they only have cartoon goals and cartoon minds makes it a lot easier to deal with. These two walk past all these cops having an argument, put on their lab coats and go to work like nothing's going on. Their boss notices them, though. Their Professor Shawarma. And here we get Annie's apartment where Dae-young and someone pops up on her phone. I don't even remember what they were talking about. Talking about how they're going to solve the problems that they made. The problem isn't, you can only have characters solving the problems they make in a perfect world, like Big Bang Theory. A sitcom like Friends or like 2.5 Men, where there are no problems and the characters are the problems, that is great. But that doesn't work when you have one of them as a teenage cop with a rocket pack. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to know what kind of story you're trying to tell. And I think Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is probably much more up their alley, considering they want less consequences for the actions and they want a perfect world to act in. This is not a perfect world, not where you have a tyrannical quantum mechanics corporation running everything and sending people back through time and able to shut off the lights whenever they want. So, I do love this art, though. I do love the art. Being a sitcom writer and being an action-adventure writer are not the same thing. Robert E. Howard did not write sitcoms. And Larry David does not write Conan. When you try and put comedy into an action movie at the wrong place and time, it destroys it. Take a look at the G.I. Joe movies with Marlon Wayans. You can't have people wisecracking when someone's life is on the line. It Scrubs, right? Okay, so look at that. That worked because they put comedy when people's lives are on the line. But that works because it's a system where they can solve things and nothing really exists. It's a microcosm, right? If your decision makes a person die and you're cracking jokes about it, I don't think that character would last very long on any show, especially when it's a sympathetic character and you're insincere about their pain. That's why TV works. TV works because not everyone is a sociopath. And as much as I talk about being a psychopath and a sociopath, I think if I were, I would lean into sports more instead of TV shows and comic books and novels. I think that's a test for sociopaths. Psychopaths and sociopaths don't do fiction. I mean, if they really don't have any empathy, they're not into fiction. Anyhow, these kids have now gotten into quantum mechanics, and this is Joshua who runs the show. This is the man behind the curtain, as it were. It's a digital projection of his imaginary self. This is Dae-young going back to quantum mechanics, to the lab, to some other lab. She's going to where, this is what happened back here. She got an alert of where, she got a police alert. That's what this is, and that's what this is. These are police alerts saying Rocket Girl has been seen at this location. And it's a trap for her, and they're wondering if maybe someone else has jumped through time, which is a fair, that's understandable. You'd worry about that. Maybe there's another version of Dae-young, and when she shows up, there is no other version of herself. It's just her, and she sneaks in and gets her gun, which we've never seen her fire, all the way up to this guy's cheek. But somehow he chases her off and is able to launch this plasma cannon, whatever it is, this red ray gun with slow rays that she can outmaneuver, which is kind of cool. Again, cartoons with no real consequences. This is like the G.I. Joe cartoon, right? This G.I. Joe, the Joes and the Cobra agents all had stormtrooper aim. They had laser guns and none of them could ever hit each other. So you have to decide when you set out to do your book what level of consequences you're going for. This is awesome. I haven't been checking to see that this is in focus. I hope I haven't gone halfway through the book with it all fuzzy, because that's going to delay this video by a lot. Look at them running down this escalator. This is like some abandoned mall. And I remember looking at the construction supplies. Look at how good a job Amy Reeder did with this construction site. Everything is crisp. Pallets of drywall. Some boxed cabinets, maybe like refrigeration units. At the step, at the front, at the top of an escalator or stairwell. Cement stairwell. With glass barriers. This cop got shot and gets abandoned by the fat guy, the older version of his present partner. And this guy won't tell his partner what happened. He says he doesn't remember because of what's coming up. Dae-young grabs a hold of this guy's mustache. His name is Tweed. That's amazing artwork. That is incredible artwork. That is an artist. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Some of the stretch and squash in this one is a little overboard. I think there's another one we get one more that's really, maybe that's it. Because now we're back in the future past again. I hope this is in focus. This girl, this guy Joshua is talking smack to these kids. That's a guy. I keep calling him a female. It's a bunch of exposition. She's trying to hit a button, and then they arrive. So these people open a door and actually step out and reveal themselves. And we might very well be looking at Dae-young, Annie, and Ryder in 2013. I would not put it past them. I think if that was the goal of this series, to have Amy and Dae and these guys, Gene and Chaz or whoever they are, to have all these characters show up at the very end in the future, you could have done it better. I think that what would have held you up was if the artist was in a big hurry to get to work and do the Big Bang comedy version. That's what this is. It's a Big Bang cartoon comedy version of a time loop story. This is her version of Looper or Skynet. I know there's some other time traveling. Inception, maybe. This is Brandon Montclair's version of a time loop story. And, look, I have a bunch of stories. I have tons of stories. I only have 2 novels. I've been writing since I was a kid. And I don't publish everything. I don't publish my rough drafts. I have a lot of scripts. Some of them I tried to sell that didn't get bought. But I have a lot of stuff. I only publish my absolute best work. And this needed to wait until the story was ready. This story wasn't ready. This is par-baked. I don't like buying that kind of bread at the store because I don't want to come home and cook it. I want to buy bread that's done. I want to buy a comic that's done. This is amazing work. And this never would have happened if Image Comics hadn't happened. But Image Comics happened because Marvel took their production pipeline for granted. Marvel had, at the beginning of the 1990s, Marvel and DC together had a revolving door of artists and writers who all knew each other and worked together and liked working together. And a lot of them knew each other's stories and they were helping each other produce their best work. And Marvel leaned in so hard on raping those artists and taking full advantage of them and not paying them what they should have. Todd McFarlane said it would have been so easy for them to keep us. What it would have taken is respect. And Marvel still to this day does not like respecting its writers and artists. It sees its characters, it sees its IP as the wealth of the company. That's stupid. The artists are the wealth of the company. You think you can just slot them out and replace them, but what you've had to do over and over and over again is cut back your production because you can't fill good books. We've all watched it happen. You say that there's no demand for comics, but there is. There's demand for good stories and art. There's always demand for good stories and art. The problem is you, Marvel especially, failed to keep up your end of the contract. Delivered shit. All of Amy's action scenes, this is really where she shines. Now, that's why this comic is a lot like Trencher, because you could have a 5-minute fight and make it last 22 pages, have no one win and have no one lose, and have it still be one of the best comics of all time. I don't know anyone who's done that or leaned into that or tried it. This artist could do it. There's not a lot of artists who could. You'd really have to work with the writer so it wouldn't become redundant or one note. You'd have to have mini goals that are achieved or lost, where the advantage is won or lost to the hero or the villain, the protagonist or the antagonist. We don't even know why this guy's an antagonist, but he's explaining, he's doing some exposition. He wants to know why his older self won't tell him what happened. And they're separated, and he's been assigned to this location so Dae-young could do this to him. She drives him into the quantum mechanic machine. And maybe this is why he survived that accident with the train. Maybe he is in some way able, he has some healing factor now because he got struck by lightning. And for a kid's comic, that's all you need. All you need is to be knighted by a magic sword, get struck by lightning, put on the wrong mask, and away you go. So this is the end. Annie and Ryder and Jean and Chaz all show up, and Dae-young has hurt Officer Dunn. His name is not Ben Dunn. Ben Dunn is the guy at Antarctic Press, where Mark Waid made him cry and forced him to cancel Richard C. Meyer's book. But then I guess Richard C. Meyer got other books done with Antarctic Press, and I think Mark Waid had to pay some money, so maybe he learned to keep his mouth shut. anyhow, this is where we cut back to this other story, and these people are stepping out into the room. I love these shots. I don't mind these at all. This is very Scott McCloud, who did Nightwing. He did a lot of this stuff with the curved fisheye lens. I love that. I've seen that a lot of places in this book. It's really good. There's these buildings. Dae-young flying past these buildings, and the buildings are curved. I think it was in yesterday's book when she was going out. It's in yesterday's book. And I don't have that at hand. It's actually under the tablet. So when Dae-young was flying over to a city street, to the building where she was going to find Detective Chichion murdered, Amy had curved the whole front side of the building, and the whole back was in focus. It was really, really good. This is beautiful. Let's see what else we got. Any good ads? Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. She's coloring this herself. She's really putting in the hours. She really, really is. It's amazing. I love it. This is really good. I love this, breaking down the before and after. No word balloons. She does all the artwork. See, going to animation school, this was one of my hangups too. I tried to tackle something a while back, and I was doing way more than the panel because I wanted to animate it. And that was definitely biting off more than I could chew. But looking at this and how this works out, and check this out. I really love this next page. Bye. That's beautiful. I wonder if that's 1-to-1, you know, or if it's might be blown up, because let's say this is 10 by 15. Then that would be like 5 by 3. It blows up really, really nicely. Wow. I love everything about this. The door jamb is all, the cabinets are closer to you. Sorry if I'm messing with the focus. I'm just trying to hold it still. I love this comic book. Rocket Girl, number 9. All right, let's do the next bit. Hey guys, so today we were looking at Rocket Girl number 9. And it's good. It's great. I love this cover. I mean, we just looked at it. I had to run out and pick up my car. Just got the bumper replaced, so I'm coming back to this after a couple hours, and I want to look at it again because it's so good. I've been thinking a lot about this, and I don't know how much of this is conflict between the writer and the artist, or if you've got a writer who wants to write sitcoms and an artist who wants to draw action. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of ways. Maybe Brandon Montclair maybe they fought the whole time and now they're fighting on Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and I hope that's not the case. Because a writing team, an artistic team that fights cannot last. I think that's impossible for these guys. I hope they're writing. I hope this is everything they wanted it to be. And I'm just not the right audience for it. I sincerely hope that. Today's card, Conflicted, deck 3, the King of Clubs. This guy, this says Lieutenant Colonel Barron. This guy has a name. He's giving a pep talk to his soldiers, and Barron with an E. It comes up whether or not patriotism is loyalty to your government or to your country. There should be no separation. That's the problem we have in America, is the government is not for the country, and the country is the people. The government is just the people elected to run the government. And the government right now in America is not for the people and by the people. Look at Biden's cabinet. I can tell you who it is, but you'd call me anti-Semitic. His entire cabinet the entire State Department. This is the Jacob and Esau parable playing out in real life. So you need to ask yourself if you need to ask yourself whose side you're on, the government or the country, then your government is run by traitors. Our government right now is run by traitors. Even Trump. Trump's whole thing with Gaza is hilarious. It's a troll, I think, but on some level, I think he's also sincere about it. I think he would turn Gaza into beachfront property overnight. He doesn't give a shit about the Jews or the Palestinians or Australians or white people or black people. That's one thing I will agree with. I don't think he cares about European history at all. I think he sees European history as an impediment to getting loans because his loans come from the people who run the banks, and the people who run the banks have no love for European history. That's the problem our world is in right now. And I'm not making jokes about it because it's not a laughing matter. This is the card that made me buy this deck. I saw this in a TV show called Patience, set in England, where some bad guys used it for something. I want to say it was in Patience. I'm sure it was. It wasn't in Agency, and those are the only two shows I've watched recently. They're total culture war shows, but this is cool. This card made me buy the deck. This is good art. So this is the tarot. And what else do I want to talk about? This insurance guy getting shot by Luigi Mangione, right? I had some drama with the insurance today. So I need surgery on my right eye for a detached retina. And it's embarrassing how it happened, and it's embarrassing to need help. And my eyes were never correct in the first place, but now this one's really bad. I finally got my bumper fixed, which actually broke before my eye broke. Money's been really hard for me. I've been trying to get caught up in rent, and I got behind. I've been trying my whole life, and try-harding sucks. It sucks. That video with Chuck Dixon where he talked to Joyce Carol Oates, Joyce Carol Oates had posted a tweet about talking with people in publishing and that white male writers can't get books, which is absurd because Brad Meltzer gets books, John Grisham gets books. There are white male writers who get books. There was a story in the paper about some guy who pretended to be gay to get published a while ago. C.B. Cebulski had to pretend to be an Asian to get in at Marvel. So I'm Hitler. I am Hitler. I really am. We are in a Weimar Republic, and I am in the middle of a culture war, and I've been locked out partially through my eyes, but even if I had gotten in at Marvel, I didn't want to. I had one time, at one point, this is as much my fault as it is where I live, as it is anything else. You guys are going to laugh about this. You want to laugh about something? Here's a joke. This is funny. I once had, at one time, blah, blah, blah. I keep saying this. I'm not going to go in and cut this out. For a while, around 2006 to 2008, when I was looking for work as an editor. As an editor, I was making $100,000 a year. As a storyboard artist or a artist in LA, if you get hooked up with some advertising agency where you're in the office every day doing marker, poster boards, SketchUps, whatever they call them, one sheets. I believe they call them one sheets. If you were really good, you could make a lot of money doing that. I was never really that good, and that was always in a style that wasn't my style. That's the sort of, not photorealistic, but a Norman Rockwell a cartoony Rockwell style that they like for that stuff. And I really wanted to do comics, and comics was beyond my grasp. So I wrote, and I love what I wrote. And the reason I'm talking about this, the try-harding thing and being Hitler, when you shut a people out of their culture, you bottle up it's the end of free speech, really. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm probably not going to be here to see all of it, right? there's a lot more people who are mad than just me now. And I don't like being mad. I want to be happy. I want to live in the 80s and the 90s like I grew up. You know, there was one black kid in the area where I grew up, and my brothers were friends with him. He's younger than me. So I was never racist, like I hate them, but I won't be talked down to by anybody. Not for my race, not for my religion, not for anything. And the Jews running the culture in America are making, look, I hate talking about this. So I just have to do mine. I have to do my work. And I got my one page of Modern Savages. I got really far with that yesterday. I spent a lot of time on that yesterday drawing. I haven't been writing. I go back and forth between writing and drawing. So I don't even know what I'm out here talking about. I should be out here being happy, projecting joy. And I do have a lot of joy. I am super proud of this. Ashley Fox, Legacy of a Mad Scientist, Ashley Fox, Ninja Babysitter. This is Tomb Raider meets Flux meets Conan the Barbarian. It's really good. And I couldn't be happier about it. So, yeah. What is the difference between is patriotism love for your country or love for your government? What kind of fucking question is that? All right, see you guys tomorrow.